Hi dear students, how are you? I hope you're fine. Today we're going to talk about ethics and social responsibility part 2. So let's start. So we have here the conflict of interest. What does it mean? When I have a conflict here between self-interest and professional obligation, so what's here meant by that? We have here an example to show you the definition. So if you are suppose that you are a manager of a small business. Okay, and you're asked to hire your sister, little sister, to do some work in the firm, but she's clearly unqualified to do the work. What do you think, guys? Giving the position to your sister here will help out your family, of course, but will create moral problems with the other employees. So they know that you hired your sister and she's unqualified, so they will blame you. It may also damage the business if her work does not get done, and you're gonna ask another one to do her work. Okay, so what should you do in this situation, or what should be done in this situation by another here person? Act in the best interest of the company. So in this situation we have to act in the best of what? Of your family, of course not in the best of interest of the company, even if you are the manager of the firm. So we have here some important ethical questions we should ask ourselves when I have a behavior or an action to decide. Does this action violate the laws or policies? If yes, so of course this is of course unethical. If no, so I will ask myself another question, which is, what if everyone did this but it's still bad, so it's still unethical one? If the answer is not, so I will ask myself another question: would this sacrifice long-term benefits or short-term gain? So if the answer is yes, so it may be unethical because you're gonna affect here the gains and the profits. Okay, if the answer is not, so it's an ethical decision. So I have here steps to promote ethical behavior. Okay, so I have to follow these steps. So making decisions, guys, on ethical issues, we have here some steps, 5 steps. If you find yourself in an ethical dilemma, so I have to follow these steps. The first step to identify, to find out the ethical dilemma you are facing. Discover the alternative actions. Decide who might be affected by these actions. List the probably here effects of the alternatives. Select the best alternative. This means what, guys? I'm gonna find out the dilemma, the problem, discover the alternative actions. I can here put plan to myself. I have here alternatives. Decide who might be affected by these alternatives. List the proper effects of the alternatives. Okay, then I'm gonna, of course, the other alternatives will affect others, so I will affect others, so I have to consider the consequences to know if they are effective with the problem, and select what the best alternative, okay, for helping or for solving the problem. So here after this I have to you're gonna here answer these questions, okay, as an assignment. Okay, you can send the answers via the SCL. Section 2 that we are going to talk about here, the social responsibility. We have here this tree, the social responsibility, because here it's related to all of that. The responsibility, management, standards, energy. Let's talk about this step by step here. Social responsibility. Guys, social responsibility here is what? Is the duty to do what's best for good of society. So what's social responsibility here? It's that duty you have to do, so to do what's here benefit, what's best benefit, or what's best for the good of society. So I'm here doing for the sake of society. So some businesses here going green business, like reusing, reducing and reducing pollution, reusing and reducing pollution, and recycling, right? Difference between ethics and what's the difference, and this is important here, what's the difference here between ethics and social responsibilities? When I talk about here ethics, this means that I'm focusing on decisions, I'm focusing on, focus with me, decisions considered good or bad, correct or incorrect, I'm choosing here, okay, which decision I feel it's good and I feel it's bad, correct or incorrect. I have here social responsibility. This means what this of business here takes into consideration. They takes into consideration all the business does or does not to solve the problems of society. So guys, examples of social responsibilities to understand it more clearly, I have here donating to charities like Risala and so on. I have here making a special effort to employ disabled, and this is here very important to help the disabled here. Okay, I have also directing research money at projects that will promote public health. This is very important too. Recycling, especially where that's not financially advantageous. Reducing non-profitable, reducing here use of non-renewable fuels, especially where there's that's not financially advantageous. Also sponsoring awareness campaigns of disease. Okay, so I have here, let's see this corporation and its managers. Here I have here the owners, I have here the employees, suppliers, communities, and I have here the customers, money, and I have here the supply. So we have here what? Social responsibility. So guys, the social obligation of a business are to what? To provide safe products. What do you think here business can do, okay, to benefit the society? To provide what? Safe products to that saves here the that is useful for adults and useful for children, and also maybe for elders. So create local jobs for the employment, protect the environment, contribute to the standard of living in society. So I have here social responsibility. A conflict of interest is when a business, here the definition is when a business is tempted to put profits before social welfare. So to here we have here to do what is like the example of the business here, the business manager and his sister, to hire his sister. So I'm putting here what? I'm putting my benefit before the benefit of the, yes, the benefit of the society. So it's when a business is tempted to put profits before social welfare. Here very important one. Four main types of social responsibilities here we got: social responsibility to customers, social responsibility to employees, social responsibility to society, social responsibility to creditors and owners. So we have here, guys, responsibility to customers. Let's start with it. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and this is very important to know the abbreviation for this one: Food and Drug Administration. A government agency protects consumers from dangerous or falsely advertised products. Like in this one, I have here, this is what? This is here paying off. They have here, this is medicine, okay? The FDA governs, okay guys, okay. The FDA governs advertising and labeling of over-the-counter medicines. Okay, analyze why the FDA officials might feel the regulations of advertising and packaging labels is necessary. So, in any product here, the FDA governs this, and they asked us, or the medicine here must be, for example, in this medicine must be labeled by the name of the product, the ingredients, okay guys, focus on this, exact measurements of package contents, okay, name and address of manufacturer, purpose of the medicine, why it's made for, cautions on use, directions for safe use, expiration date,